Good morning, beautiful being. It is lovely to see you. We are inside today because it's just too breezy out. I know it was breezy yesterday, but trust me, it's breezier today and you wouldn't hear me over the wind. So the flowers will keep, they will continue to bloom, but right now we get to do rocks. And there is never a problem with doing rocks, right? Don't ask me what this is, I should know. I look it up and I forget it every time. It's sort of green, it's a dark olive green. You see other pieces of this rock and the green part is more mossy green, it's lighter. Good morning, Nefertiti, it's beautiful to see you. And then it's got these pinky bits in it as well. Good morning, Linda. So I was walking down the road in the days when I still worked in an office and I found it on the pavement. So I picked it up. What are you going to do? Say, oh no, I have to leave that there. Gifted to me by the street. I have amazing things given to me by the street. I have no barrier to receiving gifts from the street. What do you know? May have challenges with other kinds of receiving, but the street is generous to me. Now, our other rock today, some of you have drooled over this repeatedly. We'll drool again. Here it is. Fluorite. And what do you say? It's just beautiful. Sandy, good morning. Yeah, lovely gift. I'm very grateful. Little presents that get given to me. So, fluorite grows in layers, right? And this piece was just polished into a sphere. Look at the beautiful. You can just see all these details. And now that was probably the top of the crystal that was polished. And this is probably the bottom. I know, it's so wow. It's beautiful. There you are. You can see it. Doing it upside down. And that side of it is just beautiful because you can see very clearly the shape of the fluorite crystals. I love that. So there it is. Beautiful, beautiful stone. Scotland! Well, I'm not going to attempt. Billy Connolly comes to mind, but I can't do his accent, and I'm sure I can't do yours. But greetings. I love that I get to say hello to the whole world. And, here it is. It's 8:45 here, and it's 9:45 where you are. I think it's yesterday afternoon where Linda is. I don't know where you all are, but it's grand to see you. So welcome. So today I want to talk about something that I experienced myself. I'm kind of doing it at the moment actually, but not with anything that's life-threatening. And I have friends who are facing really scary shit. They're facing things that, big, life-changing. Is it going to be like this or is it going to be like that? Many people are going to relate to that. In Florida, it's windy. Well, it's windy here too. We've got the same wind going around the planet. It's the unrealised potential. Robin, good morning. Good morning, Jen. See your little face. It pops up before Facebook even tells me you're here. It's great to see you both. Good morning. And the unrealised possibility and it's so hardwired and normal for me to remember it and think, oh, gee, is it going to come out okay? Is it going to come out okay? And it's very, very easy for me to fret about it. Hi, Heather. Lovely to see you. It's very easy for me to worry. It's very easy for me to turn it over in my head. And the more I turn it over in my head, even quite gently, the more my body starts to gear itself up into a state of fear or hypervigilance or looking for the worst possible thing to happen. Now, why is it that we do this so easily and so automatically? Well, wind back the clock, 50,000 years, was it longer? To the time of the caves, or even less time than that. Just put in this crystal ball where it won't roll. Less time than that. Winding it back to a time when there was competition for resources, when, it was my family gets to live in this place or your family does, but there isn't room for both of us, so we have to fight about it. when, these things were life and death, and for a lot of us they're not anymore, but we're still having the evolutionarily programmed response from the brain that says, I perceive a threat or a possible threat, and sends a signal to the body that says, we've got to get ready for this. We've got to get ready for this. We've got to stay ready for this. We don't know when this is going to materialize. We've got to keep looking, got to keep watching. It could be bad. And you just stress over it. And I have watched myself in the last little while doing that over a particular situation that I've just done the best I can to be the most elevated and loving person that I can be, but I don't know how it's going to turn up. Do I go look at my cane? Not yet, not today. Exactly. You make a decision, Linda. Maybe you want to put that cane somewhere out of sight. Just a thought. Why have that reminder there of a possibility that you don't want to embrace? There may be practical reasons why it's there, but just consider whether you can have that not be the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning. And for those of you wake up in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes on it, and before you've opened your eyes, you're thinking, oh God, there's that. Immediately, if we're not aware, our awareness, our attention focuses straight back on the very things we don't want. And in the morning, when you wake up, you are in theta, you are in alpha, you are suggestible to your own thoughts. There's nothing in your awareness to argue with you and say, hang on a minute, that's not actually what I want to be programming my autonomic nervous system with right now. It just goes in. So, this is going sideways, but it seems important. Oh, it is important. That's why it's important. That's why I've gone sideways into it. The first thing I do in the morning, and I don't force myself. I do have an alarm because I get it very early so I can meditate. And I don't force myself to wake up immediately. But when I do wake up, I reach for this little pad that I have. It's habitual Nefertiti. Now I know I'm talking about this. Reach for this little pad and I just write, I write the date, I'm so grateful for blah. And I just try to remember things from yesterday that I'm grateful for. And I just do that for a little bit. And what does that do? It gets my brain onto a different track to what it might do automatically if I just allowed it to wander. It's just a program, Nefertiti. It's just when you wake up first thing in the morning, your brain goes into what's called the default mode network. The default mode networks, fire up, start telling you who you are and how your life is and what to expect. And that is the buzz. Whatever it is, the buzz that is normally you is what just goes off by default in the morning. And so, that's a very honest reading of yourself. It just means that, baseline, there's anxiety. And it's not a criticism. It's not saying you're awful or you're bad or you're failed or anything. It's just, oh my goodness, that's what I normally am when I'm not paying attention. Nora, good morning. So, it's really, oh shit, right. This is what my brain does when I'm not interfering. Because you're not really awake. You don't have a conscious mind really online yet when you're in, because when you're sleeping, you're in delta. And then when you're between sleep and wakefulness, when you first sort of, you're in theta, your brain is in theta, it's slow, it starts to speed up and you're starting to pay attention and have thoughts and imaginations in your mind, and that's alpha. And when you are opening your eyes and actually paying attention to the world outside your own skin that you interact with through your senses, then you're in beta brainwaves, and then the rational mind is there to say, hang on a minute, that fear you've been feeling for the last 5 or 10 minutes without actually noticing is not actually real, but by then it's kind of established. And yeah, the last thing you think about can tend to be the first thing you think of because it's the default mode network, right? Unless you change it. So you know why I blither on about becoming aware of what we're thinking and feeling, because if you don't pay attention, you can't change it. It's just not possible. So, if you have a situation and it's hanging, and it looks like it's turned to custard. And everything around you is saying, this is bad. This is really scary. I can predict already, based upon the past, mind you, because all you've got inside your skull is your past experience. So based upon the past, you interpret what you see around you as how the future's going to be. And if you see a little thing, or a little whatnot, the brain is naturally, evolutionarily, normally going to say, this is bad. If there's any way that it can be interpreted as bad, it's going to do that. And then your body's going to start to feel fearful, and then you will think more fearful thoughts to go with your fearful feelings, and we all know how the thinking and feeling loop goes. And it happens. It's just very human and very normal. So what do you do when it's full on in your face and there's scary stuff and you can't control it, right? You've done your best. You may have still completely screwed up, or things that you did 5 years ago may come to bite you in the ass, and there's nothing you can do except kind of wait and watch it unfold, however it's going to be. What do you do, right? Because we all know what that's like. I don't like thriller movies for that reason. I don't want to wait. I get scared. My body gets scared. My brain may be going, oh, this is, really well-constructed movie. It's a great story. Wow, this is amazing. My body gets into fear. It does not like suspense. And it's very interesting for me in this last little while, dealing with this unknown that I've had, to recognize how profoundly my body fears the unknown. It's just amazing. It's just this, oh wow. And some understanding about some of my other really deep, knee-jerk, innate reactions that I actually have no control over. They're really, really powerful. And so I'm working to change that. So going powerful places inside myself to do that. That's what it takes. You don't know if you don't know, and we get what we need. Even when we're like, oh, really? Nah, this is awful. So there it is. Okay? It's difficult. It's challenging. And what we normally do is be aware of how difficult it is, and we feel stressed, and we manage our stress, and we carry on, and we feel the tuning in our gut and the stress, and our digestion shuts down. That's what happens to me. I get cold. That's what happens to me. My brain doesn't work so well. I'm heading towards high beta. It's not pretty. I'm in fear. And how can I break that? How can I change that? Well, after having first noticed it, I have to get my attention off the thing that is pulling me in like a vortex, like a maelstrom, like a funnel, saying, come on, suck it in, get into the pain, which is so familiar. You know how to do it. Yeah, and that's why you hate surprises, Linda. I totally get it. Because some part of me has said I hate surprises too. Viscerally, physically terrified of them. My brain can be saying, there is no problem here. My body is saying, go away. Go away now. Right? So there's a great disagreement between my mind and my body. And I can't point, unlike yourself, Linda, you've had a lot of unpleasant surprises. I haven't really had many at all. But there's a program running about it all the same. It says, oh no, if I can't control this input, I don't want it. Go away, you're a threat to me. So I know what this is like. I'm not speaking from, theoretical, philosophical, oh, this is so interesting. It's like, I live with this. And I am on the process of making it so that I don't live with this. It's here, it's now, it's in my face, I'm dealing with it. So, having recognised what that default mode network is doing, and it's been doing it for a very long time, so it's going to be a process to move through it. To come into gratitude. Good morning, Amy! To come into gratitude for the most simple thing, to look out my window and say, oh, the kowhai tree is beautiful. I'm so grateful I've got a lovely view. Abigail, good morning, lovely. I'm so grateful that I know there are flowers out in the garden, and I can't show them to you today because it's windy, but I'm so grateful that they're beautiful. I'm so grateful that I live here. I'm so grateful that right now there's peace and there's quiet. And whatever is collapsing into reality around me that I can't control, and actually which I am not responsible for, and there's a big clue there, because we take responsibility for a lot of stuff that's not us, and get stressed about it. I'm so grateful that actually that is not my problem. I've done the best I can. I've shown up the best way that I possibly can. I've been the most, what would love do, that I know how to be, and there's nothing more I can do about it. So let me come into gratitude for the fact that I've been conscious and I've paid attention and I've done the best I can do. And, and I've continued to be useful and helpful, and I've continued to feel healthy, and, you make a list. And you just keep, even if your body keeps on playing the thing, if I keep putting my attention on what I want instead of what I don't want, eventually, and it can be a real wrestling match, my brain is going to stop obsessing about what could go wrong. And because I've made it start obsessing about all the good stuff that's already happened, it might start paying more attention to the fact that, hey, right up until now, everything has always worked out okay. It has. Here I am. And yeah, there were some bumpy, rocky, painful bits, but here I am. And, what if this thing that I don't understand, that scares me, and I can't even say why I'm feeling scared today. For those of you with roving anxiety, you just wake up feeling scared. Good morning, Pearl. What if everything that I can't see and can't control and that scares me is actually not going to turn out okay? What if it actually is okay right now? Because remember, some of the most challenging things that you've come through, the things that you look back on and you think, oh my goodness, that did get me here and it turned out okay, it was scary, it was challenging for me to, but it turned out all right. And look, here we are. And what if this now is also like that? But I, having been through scary things before, what if I remember that I made it through that? And I see how good it's become now. And I remind myself of that now. And I remind myself that the thing that I think is going wrong, well, I can't see everything and I don't understand the wisdom of everything. I don't understand all the synchronicities that I'm not going to see until tomorrow or next week or even next year. But what about if I give thanks and gratitude for those things that I can't see, which are being lovingly held for me? What if I do that? It's a choice. But reminding myself that feeling the fear that has been habitual and usual and normal for me to feel up until now is not going to have me move into a new life, into something different, something easier, something more productive, something better. Maybe that's going to be something different. Maybe if I do something different, I'm going to get a different outcome. And it won't be so scary and so stressful all the time, because I'm saying, look, I made it through the last time. Let's assume I'm going to make it through this time. And what about if I try to manage my state more effectively and more efficiently than I did the last time? Because that was the hardest part, was constantly being scared all the time. But it turned out all right, so what am I doing being scared all the time now? And we have this really deep choice. Oh, geez, it's so easy to feel scared. My body is familiar with feeling scared. It's used to worrying about, whatever. What if can I actually do something different? It's just a different thing. To really make that choice and think I can exist in this state of fear and trepidation and suspense and wondering what's gone wrong, and how bad it's going to be, or I can put that energy, and it takes determination, of course, into, well, gee, I don't know what the potential is, but what if there's a loving intelligence and an intelligent love that is holding all of this for me, and it's bigger than me, and it's smarter than me, and it's even more loving that I'm doing my best to be, and it's got everything and everybody handled. So what if I put my attention on that? And that's, it's basic stuff, but that's what I wanted to talk about because I'm doing it and because I know a lot of you are doing it. Not everybody's in that extremist, but some of my friends really are struggling. Yeah. Most things you worry about don't happen and you always make it through. So it's like the anxiety is kind of independent of the experience, Robin, and it's because your body and your brain literally have just got used to doing it. Which is not saying, oh, silly you. I know what this is like. I've never had to take medication, but I have friends who do because it's so extreme. And it's just that there's a lot of anxious connections in your brain and your body's really used to running on all those stress hormones. And when you work to change it, you got to change all those, you got to prune those connections apart, and you got to change the fact that your body is conditioned for stress. And that's why it's a wrestling match. Because the brain and the body want to do what they know how to do, not something else. Even if it's better, they just want to do what they know how to do. So, it is a deep challenge, but from time to time, sometimes all the time, we face fear. And that's the choice. Am I going to carry on being this habitually afraid, fearful person, anticipating the worst, understanding this is just what my brain is going to do by default? Or can I find one thought to think differently and just practice that through the day, Here I'm thinking that's feeling that scared feeling again. Forget the thought. I'm feeling scared again. What was it I wanted to think? Oh, yeah. I'm taken care of. There is an intelligent love and a loving intelligence that holds me right now. Yeah, it's much easier to be scared. And you can't just stop them. Because, like brain, body, conditioned to it. We have to become somebody who's forgotten what it's like to be scared all the time. And that's the process. And it's challenging. And a lot of people don't know how to do it. And I'm just in the process of doing it. And what I encourage you, Sandy, is go and look up Joe Dispenza on YouTube and listen to him, because he's my inspiration. And his work is really what has enabled me to transform myself thus far. And it's been amazing. It's amazing every day. And if you put Joe Dispenza and anxiety in YouTube, you'll get a bunch of stuff that you can watch and listen and learn and see whether you think you'd be interested in taking that journey yourself, because there are people who have very, very severe anxiety and they have overcome it. And sometimes it happens remarkably quickly. It's just about an incoherent brain. So, I'm out of time. Big love, beautiful beings. I think we might talk some more about this tomorrow. I'd love to know what your questions are about this. You see, just because I'm going through it doesn't mean you aren't either. And we can elevate and create change together. And whatever it is that we think is the worst, what I've learned is that it's always the best thing that could happen to me. I may not see it or understand it for a while, but I've learned to trust it. Adrian, it's lovely to see you just in time to say hi and bye. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. And she's just remembered, I'll see you in 3.5 hours if you're on. I'll be giving you an update on our beautiful Sang Marie Gomez and what's happening in the Gambia with him and his journey. Until then, bye-bye.